Congrats to you students for making it to week two. Uh, I want to congratulate each one of you for your patience, your ability to bear with me so far on the first week. We had some technical difficulties on Blackboard. I believe everything is resolved. There were two issues. That transpired this past weekend. First of all, you were unable to submit your journal, your first journal entry, and to submit online your second assignment, which was a summary of what I have assigned to do, thinking rhetorically. Now, what I want to do today, I want to give you an extension until 11:59. There was a technical glitch, okay? There was a technical glitch. I don't know what happened because of, the tornado or storm. It's been going on. When I came to work, there was no internet, and in some areas, I've been affected by electricity. But I'm glad to inform you everything has been restored. This was not an intentional mistake on my part, and everything has been restored. So this morning I sent you an email. It's also posted under the announcements tab. Okay, so click on the content tab, pre-writing, to submit your summary of thinking rhetorically. For journal number one, you'll do the same. Click on the content tab, click on journal to be able to submit the journal for last week. Okay, should you have any difficulty, any technical difficulty, please do let me know. All right. Again, I'm thankful for your patience because we are on this journey together. Now, this week, week two, I want to go over briefly what we'll cover in this class. I have assigned three readings, okay, for this week. Actually, until, let me put it this way, until excuse me, until May the 22nd. Remember, our week is divided in two parts. There's a group of assignments that are always due on Wednesday. And the second group of assignments, okay, the second group of assignments is due on Sunday, right? Wednesday at 11:59 for the first group, and Sunday at 11:59 for the second group. Now, remember, if you have any difficulty to find where to submit an assignment, always click on the content, right? Under the content, it's like the master board, right, for this class, where you will find a listing of number of things like subcategories, like our weekly assignments, right? Remember, I've posted assignments, course activities for the first 3 weeks, because I don't want to overwhelm you. This is already an intensive class, so we're taking it slowly. I'm not gonna put everything online, okay? I know some of you want to finish this class quickly, but I like to be patient. Okay, I like to be patient with students. I want to experience this evolutionary process with you as you're doing this class, as you're learning exciting thing about how to do research, how to improve your writing skills. So remember, you click on the content tab to be able to see journals, pre-writing, all the worksheets, all the documents that I've posted for you. Now, for this Wednesday, the first part of this week, I have assigned chapter 5, right? Chapter 5 deals with critical and active reading. So chapter 5 is called Reading to Understand, Engage and Respond. That's from our textbook, page 52 to 67. Okay. The title of this week's theme, or the subject of this is reading and understanding. I have also assigned for you to review Senjak's online citations guide, online citation generators. Okay, just click on it. The link will take you to the instruction. Number 3, I have assigned how to write a literary essay. It's in a PDF version. So you go back to content, click on the content tab, okay? Then required course materials. To be able to see the PDF file, how to write a literary essay, you will click on the content table, then required course materials, then you'll be able to see it. Then you watch my video lecture, how to write a literary essay. This is what I'm gonna post a second video for you, how to write a literary essay, but not on this one. And for assessment activities, okay, for this week, you're going to write a summary of reading to understand and engage and respond. This is a little bit longer than what you have done for last week. This summary will be 400 words. Remember, I posted online, okay, I posted last week a handout called What a Summary Response. It's in a PDF file. Again, you go to the table of contents to review, just to refresh your memory. Click on the table of content. That tab, I meant to say the content tab, then required course materials, and look for writing a summary response. Okay, this provides you some good instructional steps guide on how to write an effective summary to a text. Okay, so reading to understand, engage and respond is found on page 52 through 67. First you do reading, then I'm asking you to summarize what you have read. This is all you have. Okay, this is all you have for May the 22nd, which is a Wednesday. Okay, in the next 2 to 3 minutes, I want to review and go over chapter 5. Chapter 5 talks about reading to understand, engage, and respond. I am a writer. I have published many books. I have published about 14 books, 7 single authored books, and 7 edited books. Okay. Why am I telling you this? Because, you see, to be a good writer, okay, you have to read. You have to read constantly. You have to read critically. You have to read with a pen, to take notes, to highlight, right? To highlight important words, important phrases, important concepts. So because I'm a professional writer, that's why I teach this class, okay? So I'm constantly aware of the importance, okay, of reading, of critical and active reading. So this chapter 5 in your book, cover this subject, how to read to understand. You see, the ultimate goal of reading is to acquire understanding, Whether you are reading a poem, whether you're reading a novel, whether you are reading a nonfiction work, the ultimate goal is to understand. Okay, so I want to provide some guidelines for you how to read well. Me, the way I read, I should have brought a book with me so you can see. So I take notes, right? I highlight. Okay, I use different symbols to help me to remember. Okay, so now when you're reading if a work of fiction, for example, like a novel, okay, could be just an essay in your book. You need to pay attention to a few items. So let me give you some general guidelines, okay? You want to read that text, that essay more than once, right? Because by reading it more than once, look, you'll be able to encounter things, or to discover things you have not discovered before. So you read for the total experience of the work. So you want to experience the work. Let's say if you're reading a novel, you want to be a collaborative and active reader. Okay, read slowly for the words, feelings, emotions, and ideas. Read slowly for the words, feelings, emotions, and ideas. You want to underline keywords, key phrases, and passages that are important, okay? That are important. Take notes on responses. For me, I used, you can call me an old-fashioned guy or a traditionalist. I use a regular notebook. Sometimes I use index cards to take notes. You take notes on responses, on ideas and questions that occur to you. Okay, any word, any phrase, and it could be a metaphor, it could be a symbolism that captures your attention. You want to write them down and go back. Don't just write them down and you never return to them. You want to go back to those words, okay? So, an important question that you should be aware of. See, when you're reading a text, right, you need to ask question, okay? For example, you want to know why is this text written? What is the basic story or the plot? Okay, what is the argument being made? What is the topic sentence, right? What is the topic sentence of each paragraph? So in other words, what is the argument the author tries to achieve, tries to articulate in each paragraph of the text? You see, then you want to know, right? You want to know the main or the big idea of the text, right? Which is what we call thesis statement. You have learned in 1301. So you also want to pay attention to the context or the situation of the text. Okay? Do you want you pay attention to the context and situation of the text. Now, I tell you this, okay? See, as I'm talking to you, I made notes, right? So I'm reading my notes, and I'm also use different aids, different helps to help assistants to help you. Now, you want to be able to analyze relationship between words, between phrases, and the text. How do you do that? Let me give you some examples, okay? Now, or you can ask questions. Let's begin with some questions first. How do the various elements of the text relate to each other and to the central theme of the work? Another question you might want to ask is this: how does the writer relate to the reader? How does the writer relate to the reader? Okay? Then, you see, as you're trying to establish relationships, for example, between the various elements in a story, to the central theme of the work or the central idea of the work, you also want to establish relationships between, what is the relationship between the characters, a major character and a minor character. Now, I also mentioned earlier that you want to learn to you read to understand. You read to understand the content, and you want to be able to evaluate the content of the text. You want to be able to evaluate yourself, and you want to be able to consider the author and in historical context. Let's talk about understanding the content. You see, you underline key sentences, you circle keywords. Take notes in the margin. Use a dictionary. Right now, in this technological age, you can go on Google and look for a dictionary. Write a brief summary of main points. That's exactly what I'm asking you to do for this week's assignment. I'm asking you to write a summary of this week's reading, right? And how do you evaluate the content of the work? Now, first, what you want to do, you want to trace the development of the argument or the narrative. That means you want to go back, right, to the beginning, how the author first articulates or presents or expresses the main idea, the topic sentence. And you want to look for logic. That means how the author uses reason, okay? Uses logical arguments, reasoning arguments to bring you to himself or to herself. And you want to look for appeals to emotions. Later on, in this class, you're going to be talking about the persuasive essay, because you're going to write a persuasive essay. Then I'm going to talk about the use of logic and the use of emotions. Okay, the next thing you want to do when you evaluate the content of an essay, okay, you want to look for consideration of both sides of the argument. Okay, let's say if the author is arguing for a position, or if the author has taken a position, okay, on a critical topic, let's say gun control laws, abortion, euthanasia, same-sex marriage, global warming, you name it, some of those sensitive topics in our culture, you want to consider both sides of the argument. So you read to see how the author presents, okay, both sides of the argument. And you want to look for evidence, right? For example, is there a piece of evidence presented to support, to justify this claim? You want to look for analysis, how the author uses the critical method to analyze, okay, to reason, to make a point, to defend a claim. Next, you want to look for meaningful sources to support claims of fact. You don't just read an essay passively and move on. You see, an active reader takes the time to evaluate the sources that are used to support the claims or a claim an author makes. Lastly, I want to talk about evaluating yourself, okay? So far, we talked about understanding the content, evaluate the content, and evaluate yourself. You want to be aware as a reader, active critical reader, you want to be aware of your own biases for or against certain ideas. Everybody has biases when they read a text. Okay, it's like you meet somebody for the first time, right? You don't know where that person comes from. You don't know the person's culture. You don't want you do not know the person's traditions or way of life. Sometimes we do have biases. Well, we all do. Okay, so as you read, you want to be aware of your own biases, because you don't want your biases to serve as a block, a roadblock for you to understand the text, this essay, or the argument the author is making. And you want to evaluate whether your reactions, okay, to the text, whatever piece you're reading, are based on limited cultural attitudes. Sometimes, right, our culture, the way we were raised, okay, really have an impact on our perception and our understanding. Then you want to consider your immediate responses, okay, how you respond immediately to a text, to an argument, okay, to something that you read or something that you view, okay. And in conclusion, you want to evaluate whether you've made a hasty conclusion or you've reacted according to cultural assumptions of your own errors or situation. Again, this week's reading is amazing. You're going to like it, and I hope you have a good day. Later on, I'm going to post another instructional video on how to write a literary essay, and I will give more instructions, more guidance about this topic. I hope you have a great day. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Okay, again, this is Dr. Joseph, your instructor for 1302.